The Golden Glasses, by Sir Arthur Conan Doyle, The Return of Sherlock Holmes. Please share, comment, like or dislike, and subscribe to give us more energy and support us to do more content.
Can you think of any reason someone would want to kill him? Holmes asked. Well, I had to think this, but I think he killed himself. I think he was in love. He had some glasses with him that belonged to a woman. Maybe he loved her, but she didn't love him. Sometimes people kill themselves for this reason, he said. Some people do that, you know. Holmes said nothing but looked surprised and continued to walk up and down the room. He finally said something. What do you have in the cupboard in the room where Mr. Smith died? There's nothing in it that a thief would want, Mr. Holmes, said the professor. It is just some old papers from my late wife. You can look at it if you want to. Here's the key. That won't be necessary, Professor, said Holmes. Maybe you are right. I will think more about what you said. I should have an answer for you after lunch. Can I come back after 2 o'clock? That will give you time for rest, which I am sure you need. Yes, that would be best, said the professor. Pleased with what he heard, I need rest, so please come after 2 to see me again. As we left through the garden, I asked Holmes, Do you think you can solve the mystery now, Mr. Holmes? I just don't know, Holmes answered, but these cigarettes are interesting. What is so interesting about them? I asked him. I will tell you later. Now, I will talk to Mrs. Marker for about 5 minutes. Here she comes now. Holmes walked to meet Mr. Marker and began asking her some question. You probably don't have to cook much for the professor, do you? Most people that smoke as much as he does don't have much of an appetite. It changes from day to day. Sometimes he eats a lot, and sometimes almost nothing, said Mrs. Marker. I guess today he didn't eat much. He was smoking a lot, said Holmes. No, just the opposite, she said. He ordered a big breakfast and a big lunch. I was surprised, because I haven't been able to eat since I heard of poor Mr. Smith's death. When he finished with Mrs. Marker, Holmes talked for a few minutes with Susan, the other female servant, and then said, Let's go to the professor now. It's 2 o'clock. When we entered the room, we saw the professor sitting in a chair. He had eaten lunch, and the plate was empty. He was already smoking a cigarette. Well, Mr. Holmes, the professor said, did you solve the case? He offered Holmes a cigarette. Holmes reached out for one and knocked the box off the table, and cigarettes fell to the floor. He got down on the floor to pick them up, and when he stood up, he said, Yes, I have now solved it. The professor looked angry and said, Where did you find the answer? In the garden? No, not at all, Holmes said. The answer is right here in your bedroom. This is no joking matter, Mr. Holmes, the professor said. The man is dead. Please be serious. I am serious, Holmes said. I don't know everything yet, but I will. I also know that you have done something bad. Here is what I know so far. A woman came here yesterday and went into your study. She had a key to the cupboard. This key was new. It has a sharp edge which made the mark next to the keyhole. There is no sharp edge. on the key you showed me, so it is not the same one. You didn't know she was in the house, because she came here as a thief to steal something from the cupboard. It sounds very interesting, but what happened to this so-called lady after that? The professor asked. I believe that Mr. Smith, your secretary, came into the room and found her. She killed him, but I don't think she had planned to, because she didn't bring her own knife. She used yours on the table. The two of them struggled, and she dropped her glasses and had to run before she could pick them up. She had poor eyesight, so she ran down the wrong passage, which could be easy to do since they look the same. She then came into your room, Professor. This is mad, said the professor. Just where is this woman now? Holmes looked at one of the walls and said, There, behind the bookshelves. We all looked in the direction he was speaking of, and slowly we saw the shelves begin to move. Out stepped a woman. You're right, I am here, she said. Hopkins walked to her and said, I'm afraid you must come with me, madam. I will go with you peacefully, she said. I know you know I killed Smith. I need to tell you about him, though, and I don't have much time. She looked at the professor and said, Professor Coram is not English. He is Russian. It is not important for you to know his name. Professor looked happy when she said this. I have to thank you, Anna, he said. The woman looked at him and said, You are an animal and have no right to live. She looked at us and said, I'm this man's wife. We lived in Russia and we're fighting for our country to make it a better place, revolutionaries. There were many of us, and the police wanted to catch us and arrest us, or even kill us. We needed to show how people our strength and decided to kill a policeman. One day it happened and the police offered a lot of money for the name of the killer. My husband, that you know as Professor Coram, gave the name to the police. He got all the money and everyone was cuffed. All the revolutionaries, some were killed and some were sent to prison. I was lucky. I got only 10 years and was released. There was one of us named Alexis that didn't want to kill a policeman. He tried to stop us. He wrote letters to me, but my husband got them first and hid them from me. He wanted Alexis to die, but he lived and was sent to prison instead. He is still there and will be for another 20 years if he lives. She looked at the professor and said, Yes, he is still alive. You are free and he is rotting in prison for nothing. You are an animal. Please continue your story, Holmes said. Yes, I must because I haven't much time, she said. She was pale and looked weaker. When I got out of prison, I wanted to find these letters to show to the Russian police. Maybe they would see that Alexis was innocent. They will see he tried to stop the killing.